You felt this before. That feeling where every conversation feels like a test. Every situation feels like something you have to get right. Every relationship feels like work. Real, exhausting work. And at some point, you started asking yourself, when did life get so heavy? You remember a time when things felt lighter, when you could laugh at small things, when a Sunday afternoon didn't feel like something you had to manage or survive, when you could just be somewhere without feeling like you were falling behind. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Life started to feel less like living and more like performing. Like every day had a score. Like people were watching and judging. Like one wrong move meant losing something. Respect, love, a good opinion someone had of you. And the more seriously you took all of it, the more tired you became. Does that sound familiar? Here's what I want to talk about today. Not about fixing yourself. Not about becoming someone better or stronger or more disciplined. This is about something simpler than that. It's about the way we've been taught to move through life. Like it's a job we have to do perfectly. And how that way of moving is actually making everything harder than it needs to be. There's a different way to look at it. A way that older, calmer people start to see after enough years. Not a trick. Not a positive thinking exercise. Just a shift in how you see what's happening around you every day. It's the difference between walking into a room thinking, I have to handle this right, and walking in thinking, let me see how this goes. One of those feels like pressure. The other feels like breathing. This video is about that second feeling, about understanding why we lose it, and about how to find it again, without giving up on anything that matters to you. If you're enjoying this message, subscribe, leave a like, and share this with someone who needs it. Now, let's continue. And the real reason this happens is not what most people think. Most of us were taught, not in words, but in the way things worked around us, that life is serious business. You had to get the right grades, say the right things, make the right impression, choose the right path. And if you didn't, there were real consequences. People looked at you differently. Things got harder. You felt the pressure of disappointing someone. So you learned to be careful. You learned to watch how you acted around people, to think before you spoke, to manage how you came across, to avoid situations where you might look weak or lost or like you didn't have it together. And that's not a bad thing, not completely. Some of that is just being thoughtful. But over time, something else happened. The carefulness stopped being a choice and became a habit. A constant background noise, a quiet alarm that was always running. Asking, am I doing this right? Are they judging me? Did I say too much? Did I say too little? And suddenly, just being around other people started to feel like work. A dinner with friends became something to manage. A phone call with a family member became something to prepare for. A small conversation at the grocery store left you slightly drained, without knowing exactly why. Have you felt this? That strange tiredness that doesn't come from doing too much, it comes from thinking too much about how you're doing. Here's a simple truth. When you're always watching yourself, you stop actually living the moment. You become a spectator of your own life. And spectators are always tense. They're always waiting to see how it turns out. The people who seem calm, the ones who walk into a room and just seem comfortable, they're not watching themselves the same way. Something in them relaxed at some point. Something let go. It's not that they stopped caring, it's that they stopped treating every moment like it had to go perfectly. And there's a reason for that shift. But it doesn't stop there. Think about children for a moment. Not to compare yourself to them, just to notice something. Watch a child playing with other kids they've never met before. Within 5 minutes, they're running around together, laughing, arguing, making rules up as they go, getting hurt, then going back to play. No history between them, no agreements, just, let's do this thing together. And they're not trying to impress each other. They're not managing how they come across. They're just in it. Now think about the last time you were fully in something, not watching it, not managing it, just actually in it. For most people over 40, that feeling is harder to find. Not because something's wrong with you, but because somewhere along the way, the stakes felt too high to just dive in. You had a reputation to protect, a family depending on you, years of building something you didn't want to lose. So every social moment started to carry more weight. Every conversation could be the one where someone changed their opinion of you. Every mistake could echo longer than it used to. And that weight doesn't just sit on your shoulders. It gets in the way. It gets in the way of being funny because you're worried the joke won't land. It gets in the way of being honest because you're not sure how it'll be received. It gets in the way of just enjoying the people around you, because part of you is always checking to see if you're doing it right. Does this sound familiar? The child playing isn't less intelligent than you. They're not less aware of the world. They've just not yet learned to be afraid of how things might go. And here's something worth sitting with. You had that once. That ease. That willingness to just see what happens. It didn't disappear forever. It got buried under everything you were taught to protect. But you can find it again. Not by pretending nothing matters, but by understanding what actually does. But here's the part most people overlook. Here's something that took most people years to realize. Most of the pressure we feel around other people, we put it there ourselves. Not all of it, of course. Some situations are genuinely high stakes. Some relationships carry real weight. Some moments in life do matter a great deal. But most of daily life? The conversations, the small interactions, the dinners, the gatherings, the simple moments with people around you? Most of that pressure is coming from inside you, not from the situation itself. Think about the last time you walked into a room full of people and felt nervous. What were you afraid of? Usually it's something like, I don't want to say something wrong. I don't want to seem out of place. I don't want people to think less of me. Now here's the honest truth. The people in that room were mostly thinking about themselves, about how they were coming across, about whether they were saying the right things. They were barely thinking about you at all. Not because you don't matter, but because everyone is carrying the same quiet pressure. Everyone is doing their own version of watching themselves. And once you really see that, once you truly understand that almost everyone around you is a little worried about how they're doing, the whole thing gets lighter. It becomes almost funny, actually. A room full of people, all trying to seem like they're not trying. All performing a version of relaxed while quietly tensing up inside. Have you been in that room? Of course you have. We all have. And knowing that doesn't solve everything, but it does change something. It reminds you that you're not alone in this feeling. And it reminds you that the pressure isn't coming from them, it's coming from you. Which means, and this is the good part, you have more control over it than you think. Not perfect control, not overnight change, but something real shifts when you stop believing the pressure is being placed on you and start seeing that you're placing it on yourself. And it gets clearer once you see the next part. There's a word people use a lot: serious.
He's a serious person.
She takes things seriously. You have to be serious about what matters. And yes, some things deserve seriousness: responsibility, family, health, the things that genuinely need your full attention. But somewhere along the way, we started applying that same seriousness to everything: to conversations, to opinions, to how we look in front of people, to small mistakes, to things that honestly won't matter in a week. And when everything feels serious, nothing feels good. Here's a simple example. You say something awkward at a gathering. Maybe you told a story that went too long, or made a joke that didn't land, or said something you immediately wished you hadn't. For some people, that stays with them for days. They replay it. They wonder what the other person thought. They feel embarrassed long after everyone else has forgotten it. For others, and you've probably met these people, they laugh, say, "Well, that was awkward," and move on. They don't carry it. And because they don't carry it, everyone else around them relaxes too. What's the difference between those two people? It's not that one of them cares more. It's that one of them has decided, maybe without even thinking about it, that not every moment needs to be handled perfectly. That a small stumble isn't a big statement about who they are. That's a kind of freedom. And it's not irresponsible. It's actually more realistic. Because life is full of small, awkward moments, full of imperfect conversations, full of misunderstandings and missed jokes, and days where you were just off. That's normal. That's human. The people who seem most at ease in social situations aren't the ones who never stumble. They're the ones who don't make their stumbles into something bigger than they are. Have you ever tried that? Just letting something go, not because you don't care, but because you decided it didn't deserve more space in your head. It's worth trying. But there's something deeper here. Let's talk about what playing actually means. Because the title of this video uses that word, playing, and it might sound strange at first, like it means not caring, or like it means turning everything into a joke. That's not what it means. Playing, in this sense, means engaging with life in a way that isn't desperate. It means showing up to situations without needing them to go a specific way. It means being in a conversation without needing to win it, being in a room without needing to impress everyone in it, being in a relationship without needing it to confirm something about your worth. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're not gripping everything so tightly. Think about people you know who seem genuinely happy. Not performing happiness, but actually at ease, comfortable in their own skin, easy to be around. What do they have in common? Usually, they're not trying to control how every moment lands. They laugh easily, even at themselves. They let silences happen without rushing to fill them. They can disagree with someone without turning it into a confrontation. They can be wrong without falling apart. They're engaged, but not desperate. And that's the key word. Desperation is what makes life feel like work. When you desperately need people to like you, every conversation becomes exhausting. When you desperately need to be seen as capable, every mistake feels huge. When you desperately need things to go smoothly, every small bump feels like a disaster. But when you're interested rather than desperate, when you approach life with curiosity instead of need, everything gets easier. You can ask a question without needing a perfect answer. You can start a conversation without needing it to go well. You can try something without needing it to succeed the first time. That's not recklessness, that's ease. And ease is something you can actually choose, even if it feels far away right now. Even if you've been gripping tightly for a long time. But this is where most people get hurt, and we need to talk about that next. Here's where people get stuck. They hear something like, take life less seriously. And they hear, stop caring, stop trying, just float through life and pretend nothing matters. And that sounds terrifying, because things do matter. Your family matters, your health matters, the people you love and the life you've built, those are real and important. So the idea of not taking it seriously feels like a threat, like you'd be letting go of the things you worked hard for. But that's not what this is about. There's a very important difference between caring about something and being afraid of losing it. You can love your family deeply without living in constant fear of them pulling away. You can value your friendships without treating every conversation like a performance review. You can care about doing your job well without panicking every time something goes wrong. Caring is warm. Fear is cold. And when fear gets into the middle of everything you care about, it doesn't protect those things. It makes them harder to enjoy. Think about a relationship you have. A friendship, a family connection, a partnership. Think about the moments when it felt easy and good. Were you trying hard during those moments? Were you managing every word carefully? Probably not. Probably it felt natural, comfortable, like you could just be there. Now think about the moments in that same relationship where things felt tense, where something felt off. Were you trying harder? Was there more carefulness, more watching, more managing? Often, yes. The effort didn't help. If anything, it made things worse. Because people feel when you're gripping. They feel the tension. They feel the desperation behind the performance. And it makes them pull back slightly, which makes you grip tighter, which makes them pull back more. That's how good relationships start to feel like work. The warmth comes back when one person relaxes, when someone stops trying to make it go right and just shows up as they are. That person can be you. But it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about age for a moment, because this matters. When you're in your 20s or 30s, the pressure to perform socially has a kind of logic to it. You're building things. You're proving yourself. You need certain people to take you seriously. You're figuring out who you are and how you fit in. So the watching and the managing and the trying, it serves a purpose. It has a job. But at 45, 60, 70, most of that job is done. You've already built most of what you're going to build. You've already shown most of what you can do. The people in your life by now, they know you. They've seen you at your best and not so best. They are still here. And yet many people in their 50s and 60s are still running on that same old setting, still performing, still watching themselves, still managing impressions that don't need to be managed anymore, still doing the job, even though the job has changed. There's something quietly sad about that, and also something very fixable, because here's what's possible after 40. You have something that younger people don't: actual experience. You've seen what matters over time and what doesn't. You've watched situations that felt catastrophic turn into nothing. You've seen relationships survive things you thought would end them. You've lived through enough to know that most of what we worry about never actually becomes the thing we feared. You have proof, built right into your own life, that things usually work out. And that proof, if you let yourself use it, can change how you walk into a room, how you start a conversation, how you respond when something doesn't go the way you hoped. Not recklessly, not carelessly, but with the quiet confidence of someone who has been through enough to know they can handle it. That's not playing games, that's wisdom. That's what it actually looks like to stop treating life like a problem to solve and start treating it like a place to be. And there's one more layer to this. So how do you actually make this shift? Not the theory of it, but the real everyday version. When you're standing in a kitchen at a family gathering feeling slightly uncomfortable, when you're in a conversation that's getting awkward, when you're around people who, for whatever reason, make you feel like you're being watched, what do you actually do? First, notice the grip. Just notice it. There's a moment, usually quick, where something in you tightens, where you start thinking about how you're coming across rather than what you're actually saying, where you shift from being present to being careful. That moment is the thing. If you can just notice it without judging yourself for it, something loosens. You don't have to fix it immediately. You don't have to talk yourself out of it. Just seeing it, naming it quietly to yourself, here I am, tightening up, takes some of its power away. Second, come back to what's actually in front of you. Not what you're afraid might happen, not what you're worried the other person thinks, just what is actually happening right now. Usually it's a person, someone talking, someone eating, someone laughing or quiet or unsure themselves. Real, human, not that different from you. When you come back to what's actually there, the situation usually gets simpler than what you were imagining. Third, give yourself permission to be imperfect. Before you walk into a difficult situation, just say it quietly to yourself. This doesn't have to go perfectly. I can stumble here. I can say something slightly wrong. I can not have the best line or the funniest story or the most polished response. And that's fine, because you're a person, not a performance, not a brand, not a reputation that needs protecting at every moment. A person who has good days and tired days, easy conversations and awkward ones. That's true for everyone in that room, including the ones who look like they have it all together. No one has it all together. And once you really feel that, everything gets lighter. But the most important part is still ahead. Here's what this all comes back to. Life is not a test you have to keep passing. It never really was. But somewhere along the way, it started to feel like one. And once it felt like a test, you started treating every day like you had to get it right. Every conversation, every relationship, every choice, something to do correctly, something to not mess up. And that is an exhausting way to live. The shift we've been talking about in this video isn't about giving up. It's about seeing more clearly, about recognizing that you've been working harder than you need to at the parts of life that were meant to be lived, not managed. The people you admire most, the ones who seem calm, solid, comfortable, they're not doing more than you. They're gripping less. They've let go of the need to have every moment go a certain way. They're still caring, still showing up, still doing what matters, but they're not desperate about it. And you can get there too, not by trying harder, not by reading more self-help or doing exercises or working on yourself in some complicated way, just by doing one small thing every day in small moments. Noticing when you're gripping, letting go a little, Coming back to what's actually in front of you. Giving yourself permission to be a real person. Imperfect, occasionally awkward, sometimes tired, always enough. That's not playing games with your life. That's the most honest way to live it. Because the truth is, life has always had a playful quality to it. Things happen that you didn't expect. People surprise you. Things that seemed so important turn out not to matter much. Things you barely noticed turn out to be the moments you remember forever. You can't control the game, but you can stop playing it like your life depends on winning. It doesn't. You're already here, already in it, already enough. Let that be true. If this message helped you, subscribe so you don't miss the next reflection, leave a like, and share this with someone who needs to hear this today.